Hey friends, happy Tuesday or whatever day you're watching this. It's a Tuesday when I'm recording it, so welcome to part 3 of my What I Learned in Rehab series. And today's topic is the R word. So on day 1, I talked about processing some trauma. And an additional component that started in rehab but really took the whole 11 months. I was in inpatient, then outpatient, then I went to see my a drug and alcohol therapist. And so I graduated drug and alcohol counseling in December. So I went in February, graduated December. So throughout that process, the R word is something that I unfortunately learned a lot about. And that R word is resentment. And so as I was preparing my content today to talk about this, because it is such a huge part of, honestly, why I drank. You know, I had a lot of resentments. But as I prepared for this, I wanted to look at the definition. I'm just a big word nerd. So I looked it up, and it is bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly. Hey, Kenny, yeah, thanks for that comment. Kenny said, thanks for talking about trauma. It's something many people try to bury or paint over, and that is true, and I was one of them, like straight up one of them. And for me, today's topic, resentment, fed right into that. It was almost like the fuel. So the meaning, the word resentment comes from the 2 Latin words, re+sentire, which means, literally means to feel again. As in something happens and resentment is reliving that whole experience. So if any of you have, if this is ringing a bell with somebody, just drop me a comment real quick. I want to go back and see these later for sure. So it's a deep emotion and it tends to fester. By definition, feeling again is fester. Anger is one of those things that just kind of blows over, like somebody says something, you're like, what? And then you're over it, whatever. But resentment stuck with me. Like, resentment was like a Post-it note that you could take off, but it would come right back and stick right on me again. And, you know, it's weird because it's almost like, how can I compare this? It's like planting something, and the only thing that you need to grow resentment are your own thoughts. That's it. And it can be the weed of the soul in this analogy. But yeah, it was, if you'd asked me before I went to rehab and said, do you have a lot of resentment? I would have been like, no, I get over stuff. But if you had asked me, were there things that happened to me that I tend to think of over and over again, then I would have been like, yeah, there's a few things. There's a few things. Couple things stuck out. And I've been lying if I had said anything but that. So I don't talk about it a whole lot, but in AA, there's something called the Blue Book, which is right here. And this book had a lot of stuff on resentment, and if you've ever been in any type of program where you had to work steps, then resentment's a word that you're familiar with. If you're not familiar with it, then just keep in mind that you don't have to be an addict to learn and grow and identify these things. And that's what I did. I learned and I grew from all of this. And my hope is that by sharing it with you, then maybe something, maybe a damaging behavior, it doesn't have to be drinking too much. It could be anything, that you identify with that. And so how did I get over it? Well, like I mentioned previously, it wasn't immediate. It wasn't like I went in, identified, and I was done. No, it took a lot longer than that, but eventually, I just had to let that shit go. I'll be real honest with you guys. I had to leave the past in the past. That's where it was. And I was, you know, just, I could do a whole series on this, I think. I learned about something called ruminating. And I think that's the other R word, is ruminating. When you just sit there and focus on the problem and not the solution, that's what I did a lot. I identify now that the other R word, ruminating, I did that. So if either of these R words, something you're familiar with or you want to know more, hit me up. But I hope that I'm bringing value to you with this, because I'll tell you what I did is over and over and over, I thought about what had been done to me, the trespasses of others, we shall say. And really that's like a victim mindset. And I didn't know that that was what was going on until I identified these two R words. But it was critical to get over the resentment and to stop the ruminating, and it was dragging me down. And I'll tell you what, the reason one of these things is so prevalent is because I see it on social media so much. So much do I see it on social media. People just not letting the shit go. Let it go. Like, the trespasses of others really have so little to do with you. It's how you react. There's the third R word, reaction. I don't know why R today. I don't know why R. So in, I mentioned the blue book is part of the 12 steps. You make an inventory, and that means you write down all the stuff, okay? You write it down, you pray about it, you confess it, but whatever it is that helps you heal your resentment and stops the rumination, make sure you do that, because I feel so much lighter. And that's what I hope to spread with these messages, is that the healing can be so liberating and so much better than I ever imagined. Like, I honestly did not feel like my mind and my life could be so fulfilling. And it's because of these things that I'm bringing up every day, y'all. And I want everyone to wake up and have spark and joy in their life and hope. I started Sobriety Swag with the tagline, hope and inspiration. So that is what I aim for. And some of that, I'll be honest, you got to go to some dark places. You have to go to the dark before you get to the light. But just know that doing it is so worth it, so amazing. The journey and the way I feel today, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, is a million times better than the best part of my life before. And it's because of these things that I hadn't addressed, which is why I share them, because I know I'm not alone. I know that. And I'm not asking you to come on here and comment or anything, or you don't have to message me or whatever, but hopefully bringing some of this to light is part of healing for more than just me, is my sincere desire. So this is, let me leave you with this. When I did my research on resentment before I started speaking about it, I found that resentment has been shown to have physical consequences. So let me leave you with this. Resentments can cause physical pain and damage to the nerves, particularly in the back. There is a mind and body connection. They aren't independent operators. So if you're feeling pain, sometimes, things between your ears, man, that was my biggest hurdle. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope this has helped someone out there. I hope you all have a very blessed day. I am headed back to work.